By being invested in the Lean Canvas design, I've been able to critically examine and determine an opportunity that can be implemented within my school community. Understanding that the process of iteration is invaluable and ongoing when designing projects is a mindset that can be applied to a variety of tasks in a professional setting. In the beginning stages of learning about the Lean Canvas, I started out just writing down my thoughts on the canvas according to the required topics. This served in a way as a brainstorm of ideas, but in an organized fashion. At this stage, I had a difficult time creating a catchy one-sentence phrase for the unique value proposition, but I knew I would have time to think about one in the future. For the iteration of the second canvas, after posting the canvas to the discussion board for peer review, I was able to make multiple revisions based upon peer feedback by, first of all, adding more specific information as to how I would spread the news to at-risk students and their families. But I only added this within my reflection in the discussion forum and not on the canvas, as I realize now in this current stage of the process, I did not have a full grasp of what channels actually are. The second adjustment I made was eliminating the cost of refreshments at the block party, since this was the first time incorporating the block party and it isn't necessary to spend extra funds on food and drinks. Keeping it simple for the first implementation of this, with just having games and music, with the new addition of a water balloon competition, will make a good start, and the costs for the block party wouldn't be so high. The third adjustment is something that I was sad I didn't think of on my own, which is involving the public library in this project, as I know school and public library relationships are important. I added public library members to channels, customer segments, and early adopters on this canvas. One idea I thought of based upon my own reflection during this stage was to add Colonial Life as a possible funder of a grant, since annually they offer around 25 educators in South Carolina funding for implementation of different school-related projects. In general, adding grants to the cost revenue section allowed the possibilities for revenue to be more open. During the third iteration of the canvas, I consolidated the problems and solutions so that I wouldn't have so many to focus on. In my mind, I was thinking that all of the problems that are specific to the students my school serves could be combined based upon the project as a whole. Combining some of the issues and solutions still made the project organized and something that is not too much for my sponsors to view as I'm sharing this with them. I don't want so much text to deter them from knowing what the focus is of the project. This decision was made based upon feedback from a peer about my several goals, and I took into consideration the viewpoint of my future possible sponsors. I also shored up the channels and key metric sections of the canvas by adding more precise language and consolidating the forms that both the parents and students will fill out. I also edited my key metrics by making it more specific and saying number of students, number of parents. In the final iteration of the canvas, this is where I was able to reflect upon the entire process of the formulation of the project, thus allowing me to have a better understanding of the channels, consolidate some of the problems and solutions, and create a better unique value proposition that people could remember. The iteration process as a whole ignited ideas that I was able to include so that the project could be on the right track to success. For the validation exercise, based on the responses from the survey and what I know about my students who took the survey, I felt that the need for the school to visit their neighborhoods, deliver books and activity kits free of charge to them was validated. For the 2 out of 9 students who answered no to the question, would you read books over the summer if the books were brought to you? I know these students just don't like to read. If the parents were involved in a survey, I think more of an engagement of reading would take place. It's interesting to know if students want their teachers and other faculty and staff members in their neighborhoods or not too, as that was one of the questions I asked. I think the answer to this question that students gave could be based on a variety of reasons. For example, maybe they don't want us to see us in their neighborhoods where we actually see where they live, or they feel it's unusual just to have us there. So maybe this particular question was not the best question to ask them. Or I could have added a place after that question for them to explain why they chose that particular answer. Through the reflection process, I realized I needed to make sure that the students knew that we would not be visiting their homes specifically, but instead we could be stationed at a general location within their neighborhoods. Overall, if school was in session, I would have been able to retrieve additional information about the project idea. I would have been able to ask a larger amount of students, and it would have also been easier for me to get the parents to answer a survey about their opinions and interest in the project by having kids take the survey home to their parents, or I could send the survey out through my Remind group app that I use to communicate on a weekly basis with parents. Reviewing and revising the project that I created every few days allowed for me to reassess my thoughts and the plan that was originally put into place, similar to rereading a book or an article with time spaced between the readings and picking up on something new in the text each time I go back to read it. The same can be said for rereading the information written on the Lean Canvas and analyzing peer feedback. Because of these reviews, it led me to evaluate if what I had written each time made the most sense to myself, but also to others who would have access to this document. Some of my reflections included thoughts such as, is this something that could work and truly make an impact? How can I make this more meaningful? And what can I edit and revise so that my pitch can make a lasting impression on sponsors? The next logical steps I should take if the plan is approved is to communicate the plan to faculty and staff, to the faculty and staff of the school. I could do this numerous ways, whether it's an in-person faculty meeting or a presentation of the Canvas shared with them through the use of the Screencast-O-Matic program. Having the opportunity to converse with faculty and staff members that I had not already talked about this project with, while I serve as the project manager, is crucial in successfully implementing this program. I would also need to contact the school bus director to organize dates and times for the school buses to take us to the neighborhoods. Additionally, I would need to choose locations within the neighborhoods for the buses to be located. So this would take me and hopefully some other faculty and staff members driving throughout these neighborhoods and looking for spots that we could have the bus stationed. Creating scripts for call-outs to families in combination with social media posts and information uploaded to the school website to advertise the Summer Reading Book Bus program would be another step in the process. Furthermore, I would create a spreadsheet that would be shared with the faculty and staff through email for them to sign up for dates and times they would be able to participate in the visits. More changes will take place as the process continues due to more people being involved and adding ideas for the benefit of all. Once the end of the summer has arrived, the student and parent evaluations will be analyzed so that continuous iterations of the project will be made for the future in order to have the most valuable impact on the school community.